Imagine standing on a battlefield 2,000 years ago. You grip a simple iron sword. Around you, thousands of soldiers clash in a deafening storm of steel. Then suddenly, a weapon appears that seems impossible for its time. A machine capable of launching multiple arrows before most armies could fire one. A flamethrower centuries before modern warfare. A sword so advanced that even today historians struggle to understand how it was made. And a devastating secret weapon that could destroy entire fleets using nothing but sunlight. Ancient civilizations weren't supposed to possess technology like this, yet somehow they did. Today we're counting down 15 ancient weapons that were centuries, sometimes even millennia, ahead of their time. Some changed warfare forever. Others disappeared into history, taking their secrets with them. And one of them was so terrifying that enemies believed it had supernatural powers. Let's begin. 15. The repeating crossbow. Most people imagine ancient warfare as slow and primitive. But around 2,000 years ago, Chinese engineers created something surprisingly modern. The repeating crossbow. Unlike traditional bows that required individual loading after every shot, this weapon used a lever system that allowed soldiers to load and fire repeatedly in rapid succession. Pull fire, again and again. A trained user could unleash multiple bolts in seconds. That might not sound revolutionary today, but in a world where most soldiers fired one projectile at a time, it was astonishing. Its power wasn't incredible. Its accuracy wasn't perfect. But its rate of fire overwhelmed enemies. It transformed ordinary troops into mobile projectile platforms. In many ways, it represented an ancient precursor to modern rapid-fire weapon systems, and that makes it one of history's earliest examples of battlefield automation. 14. Greek fire. Imagine seeing fire burning across water. Not floating, not fading, burning relentlessly, heading directly toward your ship. That was the nightmare faced by enemies of the Byzantine Empire. The weapon responsible became known as Greek fire. Even today, historians don't know its exact formula. The recipe was a closely guarded state secret. What made it terrifying was its behavior. Water couldn't easily extinguish it. In some cases, water appeared to make things worse. Byzantine ships projected this fiery substance through bronze tubes, creating something remarkably similar to an ancient flamethrower. Enemy sailors watched flames spread across ships and surrounding waters. Panic often followed immediately. Some historians believe Greek fire saved the Byzantine Empire multiple times. Without it, the course of European history might have looked very different. Its secret eventually vanished, and one of the most advanced military technologies of the ancient world disappeared forever. 13. The Roman Ballista. The Romans were masters of military engineering, but one weapon demonstrated just how far ahead they truly were. The ballista. At first glance, it looked like a giant crossbow. In reality, it functioned more like ancient artillery. Using twisted ropes and immense tension, Roman engineers launched bolts and projectiles over incredible distances. These weapons could strike enemy formations before they even reached the battlefield. Imagine facing an enemy capable of accurate long-range attacks centuries before cannons existed. The psychological impact alone was devastating. Roman commanders used ballistae to destroy fortifications, break formations, and support advancing troops. Some versions were so precise that they could target individual soldiers. For ancient warfare, that level of accuracy was extraordinary. The ballista wasn't merely a weapon. It was engineering applied to war. And it foreshadowed artillery systems that would dominate battlefields for thousands of years. 12. The Urumi. Some weapons are powerful. Others are terrifying. The Urumi was both. Originating in southern India, this weapon looked almost impossible to use. Imagine a sword, Now imagine that sword transformed into a flexible metal whip. That's the Urumi. Its blade could bend and coil like a ribbon. Warriors spun it around their bodies at incredible speeds, creating a deadly circle of steel. Enemies struggled to predict its movements. The weapon attacked from unusual angles. Defending against it was extraordinarily difficult. But there was a catch. The Urumi was just as dangerous to inexperienced users. Only highly trained warriors could wield it effectively. That complexity made it centuries ahead of conventional sword designs. Few weapons in history looked so strange. Even fewer were as deadly. The weapons we've seen so far were impressive. But the next entries become even harder to believe. Because one civilization managed to create blades so advanced that modern scientists still study them today. 11. Damascus Steel Swords for centuries. Warriors spoke about Damascus steel almost as if it were magical. Legends claimed these blades could cut through armor. Some stories suggested they could slice silk floating through the air. While myths often exaggerate reality, Damascus swords were genuinely remarkable. Their distinctive flowing patterns weren't merely decorative. They reflected a sophisticated metallurgical process far beyond what many societies understood. The steel combined strength with flexibility. The result was a weapon capable of maintaining a sharp edge while resisting breakage. Modern researchers spent years trying to understand exactly how ancient smiths achieved these properties. Even more fascinating, the original manufacturing techniques were eventually lost. An entire technological tradition vanished. Today, Damascus steel remains one of history's most famous examples of advanced ancient engineering. 10. The Hwacha. Long before rocket artillery became a battlefield reality, Korea developed something astonishing. The Hwacha. This machine launched dozens, sometimes hundreds, of rocket-powered arrows simultaneously. Picture a wooden cart. Now picture that cart unleashing a devastating storm of flaming projectiles. The effect was overwhelming. Enemy formations suddenly faced a barrage arriving from multiple directions. For soldiers accustomed to traditional arrows, the sight was terrifying. The Hwacha represented an early form of area denial warfare. Instead of targeting individuals, it targeted entire groups. Modern rocket launch systems operate on surprisingly similar principles. That's what makes the Hwacha so remarkable. It wasn't merely innovative, it anticipated future military concepts centuries before they became common. 9. The Falcata. Ancient Iberian warriors carried a sword unlike almost anything else in the ancient world. The Falcata. Its forward curving blade concentrated tremendous force near the tip. This design generated powerful chopping attacks capable of delivering devastating damage. Many historians believe it was among the most effective swords of its era. The balance was exceptional. The cutting power was extraordinary. Even experienced Roman soldiers respected it. In a period dominated by relatively simple sword designs, the Falcata represented sophisticated understanding of physics and combat mechanics. Every curve served a purpose. Every angle enhanced effectiveness. Ancient weapon designers had discovered principles that remain relevant today. 8. The fire lance. The fire lance emerged in China during a period of rapid military innovation. At first it looked like a spear. Then engineers attached something revolutionary. Gunpowder. When activated, the weapon projected flames and debris toward enemies. It wasn't yet a true firearm, but it was moving in that direction. Historians often describe the fire lance as one of the earliest ancestors of modern guns. That makes it one of the most important weapons ever created, because from this experimental concept eventually emerged muskets, rifles, machine guns, and modern firearms. Few weapons have influenced history more profoundly. 7. Archimedes' heat ray could sunlight destroy warships? According to legend, the brilliant Greek mathematician Archimedes designed a weapon capable of doing exactly that. The concept sounds like science fiction. Large mirrors focusing sunlight onto enemy vessels. Concentrated heat igniting wooden ships. For centuries, historians debated whether such a weapon truly existed. Experiments have produced mixed results. Some suggest limited feasibility, others remain skeptical. But regardless of whether it worked exactly as described, the concept itself was extraordinary. It demonstrated advanced thinking about optics, energy concentration, and military engineering. Thousands of years before lasers. Thousands of years before directed energy weapons. Someone imagined weaponizing light. That's remarkable. 6. The Chuko-Nu the Chinese appear again on our list. For good reason. The Chuko-Nu was another repeating crossbow design that emphasized volume of fire over raw power. Soldiers could release bolt after bolt with impressive speed. Military leaders understood something modern strategists know well. Sometimes overwhelming firepower matters more than individual projectile strength. The Chuko-Nu embodied that principle. It transformed battlefield dynamics, and once again demonstrated China's extraordinary engineering capabilities. 5. The Katar from India looked deceptively simple. But its design was revolutionary. Instead of a conventional handle, users gripped a horizontal bar. This allowed punches to transfer directly into stabbing attacks. The result was tremendous penetrating force. Armor that might deflect ordinary weapons became vulnerable. The Katar essentially transformed the human fist into a blade. Efficient, compact, deadly, its ergonomics were centuries ahead of many contemporary designs. 4. The Roman Corvus naval warfare was once dominated by maneuverability. Then, Rome changed the rules. The Corvus was a boarding bridge mounted on warships. When enemy vessels approached, Roman sailors dropped the bridge onto opposing decks. Suddenly, naval combat became land combat. And nobody excelled at land combat like Rome. The invention allowed Roman infantry to fight where they were strongest. It transformed naval strategy overnight. Sometimes the most advanced weapon isn't a blade or projectile. Sometimes it's an idea. 3. The Scythed Chariot. Imagine seeing a war chariot racing toward you. Now imagine massive blades extending from its wheels. That was the Scythed Chariot. Designed to tear through enemy formations, it created chaos and fear before impact even occurred. Not every deployment succeeded. Disciplined troops could counter it. But psychologically, it was devastating. Ancient commanders understood something timeless. Fear itself can be a weapon. 2. The Halidi featured multiple blades attached to a single weapon. Its unusual design allowed simultaneous offensive and defensive movements. Warriors could attack from unexpected angles while maintaining protection. Complex, versatile, deadly. The Halidi demonstrated sophisticated understanding of close-quarters combat long before modern martial arts weapon systems emerged. 1. Antikythera Mechanism. Technically, this wasn't a weapon. But it may be the most advanced ancient military-related technology ever discovered. Recovered from a shipwreck, the Antikythera Mechanism stunned researchers. Inside were intricate gears capable of astronomical calculations. For decades, scientists struggled to understand it. Some called it the world's first analog computer. Its sophistication wouldn't appear again for over 1,000 years. Think about that. An ancient civilization developed mechanical technology so advanced that history would not match it for centuries. If they could build this, what other technologies might have existed? What knowledge has been lost? And what secrets remain buried beneath the sands of time? Ending. One mine. Ancient people are often portrayed as primitive, but history tells a different story. Again and again, civilizations created technologies that seem impossible for their era. Weapons capable of rapid fire, ancient flamethrowers, rocket launchers, advanced metallurgy, even mechanical computers. These inventions remind us that human ingenuity didn't begin in the modern age. It has always existed, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right problem to solve. And perhaps the most fascinating question is this: how many other incredible inventions have been lost forever? If you enjoyed this journey into history's most advanced ancient weapons, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which ancient weapon shocked you the most. Because history is far stranger and far more advanced than most people realize.